The Alpha Sessions with Emma Joyce.
I'm Emma and this is the Alpha Sessions and I'm here with Ebony Buckle. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, stranger?
I know. We were just saying it's been like 2 years.
Literally to the day almost.
Yeah.
Which is quite scary.
Since we were in here and we met.
Yeah. Pre the C word.
Pre the C word. 2020, but the first bit of 2020.
Yeah. But you haven't let that stop you. You've been so busy.
Yeah, it's been, in a way, I think COVID, because when we saw you, we were just about to start recording our album and everything. And then obviously COVID happened the next day, I think.
It's so weird.
We went into lockdown or something. But because of that, we had no other things that we had to do. So because we've got our studio in our house, we just ended up recording the album all year. And yeah, so it was amazing to actually have that time, really, even though it was for not great reasons.
Because I remember quite early on, actually, we were obviously in lockdown and you guys did quite a lot of live streams.
Oh, yeah.
And we were missing gigs like something chronic. So I think it was like the first Saturday of lockdown, we basically turned our living room into like a gig venue. Got some drinks in and watched your live stream. We have quite a big telly. So like cinema style. And basically just got a bit drunk and started singing your songs.
That's
which was
amazing.
quite
Yeah. God, yeah, I forgot about the live streams. They were really...
They came into their own early on.
Too, yeah.
100%.
Just to like connect to everyone still, because it all felt so lonely, didn't it? Or
Absolutely.
isolated in our own houses and not playing music. And
100%.
But I think by the end of the year, the live streams, I'd gotten a bit tired because it's just, you don't get any energy back because there's no one there. And so...
Is it weird? Because also obviously there's the chat. And I always think it must be so strange getting like real life comments whilst you're playing. Is that not so distracting?
Yeah, it is. Because also there's a 15-second delay. So people are responding to things that you said 15 seconds ago.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, and also I tend to waffle a lot anyway.
Kind of like being heckled whilst you're playing.
Yeah. You try not to look at them, but you can sort of see it. But YouTube's nice. YouTube's nice live because you're not as aware of how many people are watching. But I think with Facebook, it shows you the number all the time. And
so when people drop off, you're like, hey, what did I say?
Yeah, you start singing a song and by the end there's half the amount of people and you're sort of like, okay, yeah. Everything's fine though. It's like people leaving in the middle of a show.
Something that you also did when you were recording the album was you did a live stream of you guys tinkering with the sound as it was being recorded, which was so cool. And like genuinely the first time I'd ever watched something like that before. Was that really weird for you? Because obviously you were giving away secrets.
That's right. Yeah, we did that on Twitch, didn't we?
Yeah.
Back when I was going to become a Twitch celebrity. It was actually really fun to do. Because we did it with Little Stars, didn't we? And we did all the vocal takes. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think we sort of had to... I would love to do that thing more often, I think. But then you do have to sort of go... You don't want to give away all of those
Was it a conscious
secrets.
thing in terms of what you shared? Or was it just like, let's set the camera up and everyone see everything? You don't have to answer that question if you don't.
No. Yeah, I think we...
I was like, wait.
That is absolutely secret. No. Yeah, I think we just... we were kind of just testing what Twitch was and how to use it, and so we thought that would be a cool way to kind of let people into our world and show people, like, especially what Nick does, and because I think there's so much that goes into this stuff, and you see the end result is always I just bumped into the table. The end result is always so polished and everything, but I love knowing everything that was done in order to make it so
interesting. And also for people to understand how much work and effort goes into it, like you don't just kind of record it and go, right, there you go,
we did this a lot. There's a lot that goes into it for sure. So that was fun. But I think with Twitch, you sort of, in order to make it work, you have to stream at least 3 times a week, and it's got to be for 2 hours at a time. And we just sort of realized that it was gonna get in the way of a lot of other stuff. I wasn't ready to commit to it, but that was a really fun thing that we did. The one Twitch stream.
Speaking of live streams, you did a live stream recently for Ukraine. Mm-hmm. Obviously because of the goings on in the world. And in just one night, you guys raised already like an obscene amount of money.
Yeah.
which is really exciting.
Thanks. Yeah, it was awesome. We raised at the moment £1,400, which is really cool.
Yeah.
That includes. So I also put a song on Bandcamp 2 weeks ago.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that in a minute. Yes.
Yeah. So that includes that. So combined
cool.
with that and the concert, we're at £1,400. So we're going to send that to Choose Love.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And if people want to buy the track, where can they get it and what's it called?
It's called Where Are You? And it's on my Bandcamp. So if you go to my Bandcamp, or if you're on Instagram and you go to the link in my bio, it's there as well.
And why did you decide to choose to write it?
It's actually a song that was going to be on our album that we released last year, but another song came along and we just felt like it fit more. So we've sort of been sitting on it, not knowing where it belonged. And I actually wrote it initially, I think, about a friend who was going through a really difficult time. But I suddenly remembered the lyrics a few weeks ago, and I was like, "Oh, that really works."
Yeah.
And I filmed a commercial for Yellowtail Wine 2 years ago in Kyiv.
Okay.
And so I worked with all of these amazing actors.
Oh, amazing.
And so I've been in touch with them loads over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And so that's why I just felt like I wanted to do something, because, I mean, I think everyone here is feeling that stress of not being able to do anything about something, but having to watch it
100%,
happen. It's
100%.
Very stressful.
Yeah.
So.
No, the best we could think of was like obviously donating clothes and warm stuff to refugees, I guess, that needed it. So
that's amazing.
I'm not talented enough to write a song.
But we've all got to do our thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't have any other skills.
Also, I wanted to talk about the artwork, which I think has its own symbolism in itself.
Yeah.
Because that was written by an Afghan refugee. Painted by
Zainab. I met her on Instagram maybe 2 years ago, and she escaped from Afghanistan and then ended up in Greece in a refugee camp. She's now in Berlin.
Oh wow.
She's had 2 children.
Oh, lovely.
And so she sells her artwork, and I'd always wanted to use one of her pieces. Wow. She is, yeah. Definitely, if you check her out, the links to her work are on the Bandcamp page, and she's always making amazing stuff. And also, you can, if you ever want to help her out, you can always buy her some paint, or she's got a kind of wish list of things that she needs. So
cool.
If people want to help her, that's
definitely
that's a good way.
Oh, amazing. I'll definitely look into that. It sounds really cool. So you've also done loads of live shows.
Yes.
Now that they've come back.
Now that they're back, thank goodness.
So exciting. How have they been for you? Have you got any highlights so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think just being back. The first one we did was last year, I think, and that was at the Crawford Arms in Milton Keynes. And because we've released so much music, but we haven't been able to perform it anywhere.
Is that strange?
Yeah, really strange. And so it was just so nice to be in a room with other people as well who were watching. And because I think sometimes you sort of forget that that's why you're doing, I don't just write music to have people listen to it on a CD. Like I want to perform. Yeah. I like to be on a stage. I've done a lot of soul searching during lockdown, and I have discovered that that's what I want. I like having an audience, but no, it was amazing. And since then, we've done quite a few. I want to just keep doing more and more. Do
you think people's thirst for gigs have become more?
I hope so.
Because I mean, I can only speak for myself and say yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I think so, but I also think, especially at the moment, it feels like everything is opening up, and it feels like people are a bit overwhelmed by. Yeah. There's so many things to do, and but yeah, I definitely think, and music festivals coming back and things like that is really exciting. So good. Yeah, and I think just so many artists now being able to release music and then go and perform it at the same time.
Because that's a real challenge, being able to promote it, but without the live element.
Because you've just got to rely on the online world, which has been amazing as well. There's so many different ways to promote things, but live is definitely
the way
the
forward.
magical one.
You also recently celebrated a year since you released the first track off your album.
Yeah.
Where's that time gone?
It's been I was going to say it's been 2 years. No, it's been a year since we've released our second track now as well.
Wow.
I know, I can't believe it.
How does it feel? And what did you do to celebrate?
I don't know that we
Well, you didn't have a big party?
we didn't have a big party. We just kind of went, cool, isn't that amazing? Yeah, it feels so surreal. I think because last year was such a big year releasing, because the way I think I was talking to you about it 2 years ago was our whole plan was to reach a song every month.
Then I think we did an online session last
that's
summer.
right.
And you were just about to release
So
the whole
halfway
album.
through.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think so.
Yeah, so it was a really big year last year, and it definitely, I think at times I burnt out a little bit. And so it's been, because when we released the final album, the whole album, and had this kind of album launch party in November last year, since then I've definitely been sort of dealing with a bit of like post-project, depression of just, that was such a big part of my life for 2 years.
Yeah, it's kind of like a come down of its own.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I read somewhere the other day, because I definitely Googled depression after releasing an album. And there was a really great article that said, like, treat it as a recovery period, of just not being too hard on yourself that you don't know what's next, or that you don't suddenly have a huge, because that's the thing, you have so much purpose and drive, and you've got this thing that you care about so much, or you just think about it all the time, and then suddenly it's out and it's sort of done, and you're kind of like, but I didn't say goodbye properly, or
And what do I do next?
And everyone's expecting a new album, and so yeah, I've just sort of tried to be a little bit more gentle, I guess, and experiment a bit more, and maybe be a bit more playful rather than trying to put solid plans in place yet. I don't know if it's working.
But what does it feel like to have that album in the big wide world? It must be so surreal for something that
Really?
you've been building up for so long to then be like, oh, it's out there.
Yeah, it's very weird. After the album launch show, I came home and I sat on my bed and just had a bit of a cry, and it was a really nice cry though. It was just like I don't know, just feeling really proud of something that we did and a bit amazed at it, but also like saying, I feel like we gave it a good send off. And yeah, I think it's cool. I'm still attached to it. I'm not ready to properly. I think maybe when, I don't know, because it's hard. I felt so certain about all of those ideas of those songs, and they hadn't just, like, we'd been writing them for a few years. And so now I think, like, how did I do that? And I can't remember. So I think I've just got to trust that it'll come again. The ideas will come again.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm already writing songs and things, but I think it's just, I had such a clear vision of like what the world of the whole album and what it was going to be. So I think it's just learning to be patient about.
Was it what you thought it
its
would be?
God, I don't know. No, I think I didn't really. I know what I want. I guess I knew how I wanted it to be, but then once I was in it, filming the music videos, I didn't know. I mean, the music videos we sort of planned on a monthly basis, so it was quite a work in progress the whole year, which was a really cool way of doing it. I think a lot of people would get everything ready and then release it all, which is probably a much more organised way. But
this is more like a kind of a steady does it way.
Yeah. This is like, right, let's just
almost like
sure.
a slow drip kind of.
Yeah, and a way, I guess, to like make the journey longer, or so yeah, it's a lot of very conflicting emotions, I guess. Really happy, sad it's over, and I guess there's always that, like, I could have done more, maybe I could have worked harder at this thing, but I think sometimes you just have to go, it's done. Yeah, I did it.
How do you know when that moment is, when you're like, okay, I can't think about it anymore, like this is it?
I think there was definitely some moments last year where I was like, there's not a second that goes by that I'm not planning this. I need to back off a bit and just switch my brain off for a while, because otherwise you get a bit like,
no, absolutely.
But yeah, I'm still working on that, actually, how to manage that. Yeah. Did that answer your question?
I think so, yeah.
I feel like halfway through that sentence, my brain kind of forgot what
That happens
the question
to me
was.
all the time.
Does it?
Except I forget what I'm asking.
Great.
Which is even more problematic.
This interview is going to be a dream as we both forget the objective of the sentences. Oh, hello, I've been waiting for you to arrive. I've been waiting for you to arrive. You took your time. You took your time. I wasn't sure you'd ever come back to me. I wasn't sure you'd ever come home. You took your time. You took your time. You made me wait. I've been waiting for you to arrive. I've been watching the world go on outside. They say don't panic, let it happen. If you let it, it will happen. But I panicked, I thought you were gone for good. 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 Watching all the birds outside my window made me realize that I don't know if I am anything without you by my side.
The Alpha Sessions with Emma Joyce.
When you were recording the album and you guys were working on it together, obviously, for people that don't know, you work really closely with your husband Nick, who
Yes.
you also live with.
Yes.
So you guys were working in quite close proximity during the pandemic, to
Yeah.
say the least. What was that like? Because obviously you were recording everything from home. So on one hand, it was really good because you could be productive.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I guess you couldn't switch off even more so because it was
Yeah.
your environment constantly.
Yeah. I think there's that definitely from working from home.
Yeah.
And especially I think in the industry we're in, or probably most people who have their own kind of business or something, there's never an end to what you could be doing.
100%.
There's an indefinite amount of stuff. I'm sure you know as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was also really magical. The recording process was really great because the way that we did it wasn't that we kind of set aside 2 weeks and knocked it out, but because I think I was talking to you in 2020 about starting my Patreon page.
Yes.
And how we were going to use that to sort of fund the album, and we were going to release a song from the album to only my patrons every month.
Okay.
And so for the whole of 2021, we would record a song from the album that month. And
Yeah.
so it was quite a slow process, which was kind of really nice. So I don't know how we'll do it next time, whether we'll kind of do it in a more concentrated time, but no, it was good. And I mean, Nick teaches as well, so he was teaching from home. It was, yeah.
Crazy times.
I mean, look, we all made it work.
So speaking of the album, you obviously have done an amazing session for us, as you always do.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to ask you about the first track that you played, which is called You Took Your Time.
Yeah. So actually I wrote that. That was the one that replaced the song from Bandcamp.
Ah, okay.
It. I wrote it last year. Must have been sort of the first half of the year, because obviously it went on to the album later on in the year. But I mentioned that kind of burnout period I went through where I just felt like I had not much to give anymore. I think I'd sort of used up all my resources.
So hard.
Yeah. And so I hadn't been writing any music. I don't know. And then you always start to panic that like maybe that was it. Maybe there's nothing. But then I came downstairs one day and just started playing this thing on the piano, and then we recorded that, and then I just sang this song over the top, and that's the audio for that track. The vocal take is from the first time that I sung it, because it was just, the song kind of just came out. It was like, so I guess it's kind of just my way of saying hello to the song that appeared. And you took your time, but it's nice to have you back. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, that's the story of that.
You also played Wild Woman. What is that about? What's the story behind that?
So I got really into this book called Women Who Run with the Wolves.
Hey, cool.
Have you read it?
No,
okay,
but
great.
it sounds really good.
It's really good. It's like a self-help book, I guess,
Okay.
by Clarissa Pinkola Estes.
Okay.
And it's about... She basically uses fairy tales and folklore to explain the human psyche and the psyche of women.
Okay.
Which, I mean, is basically the music that I write. So I was like, wow, here we go. And so, yeah, it took me a whole year to read because it's very dense. But it's all about...
So it will take me about 2 years then.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I kept telling my friends, like, you need to read this book. I haven't finished it yet, but it's great.
I'll be a while. But
Yeah. But no, it's all about, I guess, owning your creativity and how often we are taught to cut it all off, or just our instincts, really. And actually we're wolves, and we need to remember that. So I guess I started to find that as well, and it was quite empowering to be able to say, like, I'm a musician, I'm an artist, and to own that. Often I find it hard to. I feel a bit guilty, like I don't really have a real job, but I started to.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I know.
That's
Thank you.
ridiculous.
I know, but it's just one of those things that I feel sometimes. So for some reason it helped me, and then Wild Woman just came out of that, where it was sort of just, now that I feel like I've found that part of me, like, please could you stay around and look after me. Keep giving me wisdom or something, I don't know. Yeah. Basically I have a lot of conversations with other parts of my brain, and that's what these songs are about.
I think that's so great though. I remember the first time when you came in 2 years ago, and I'd heard some of the tracks, but we say this all the time, like hearing tracks live by any artist, but especially different. You, I think, like, always sounds different and feels more, I want to say intense, but in a good way. And I remember thinking, wow, like, these tracks just take you to another planet and make you escape to literally like a parallel universe. And I think we had that conversation last time, but I still stand by it. And I think during a pandemic, like, there's something really pivotal about the fact that we had your session and then went straight into a pandemic.
Crazy.
And like, your session pretty much took me, and I know Alan, who records all the stuff as well, like, to literally another world, and that world was so much in need at that moment in time. There was something very kind of symbolic about everything, I think.
Oh, good, thanks. Yeah, I mean,
Without
it's definitely weird that, like, the whole album sort of set in another world, and then everyone needed to escape to another world for a bit.
The timing was on point.
Yeah, it was a good year to do it.
I wanted to also ask about the costumes that you use in your music videos. I left my phone in the other room, but there's one that really stands out, which is basically you in like a metallic kind of foily skirt and top. And
is it from the music video? or from the photo shoot?
I think from the photo shoot. But just costumes in general, like where do you get the ideas from? Because you look amazing.
Well, thank you. I'm very lucky. And like one of the things that Patreon did for me was give me the ability to work with other artists and creative people.
Yeah.
So I worked with for the like print artwork, for the cover art of the songs and the album and everything. I worked with this amazing artist called Rosie Emerson, and she came up with these incredible concepts.
Oh, cool.
And I think the one you're talking about is the one with like half a wing.
Yeah.
That's actually a costume made by Petra Stores, who's this amazing designer.
Because your costumes make me kind of go, what?
Well, yeah.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Like literally there's like
Excellent.
a delay.
Oh, yeah, because sometimes I've got like a swimming cap on or an armor or...
So good.
And then I also, for the music videos and a lot of my live stuff, and actually that jumpsuit, that the silver one,
so beautiful.
That's my amazing friend Wesley designs all of my outfits and the costumes for my music videos as well.
Wow.
So he's amazing. I just kind of say like, I'm thinking warrior in space, but she's like a computer nerd as well or something. He's like, great, leave it with me.
It's always like so epic though, so big.
Yeah, we did go, I mean the songs are so big. Dramatic, aren't they? Like they're
very
so
true.
we had to, and I think I was only going to do a music video for maybe 3 of the songs and have artwork for 3 of the songs, but then once we started doing it, even the guy who edits my music videos and animates them, Luke, we did Wonder, the one with the whale, and then we sort of went, oh, maybe we need to do one for every song actually. And so we started. So yeah, the whole project was very much like work in progress the whole time. But it was really fun. Wild woman, come to my door. Tell me a secret, one maybe more. Ask me what I am doing with all the gifts that you gave me the last time you saw me. Old woman, come to my home. Peer in the windows and find me alone, eating a meal from the food I have grown, in the way that you taught me the last time you saw me. Have I changed at all? Have I grown up tall? Strange woman, hold me so close. Don't let me stray from the path that I chose. Keep me in line with your 2 one-eyed crows. You sent here to watch me the last time you saw me. Have I changed at all? Have I grown up tall? Am I improved by the gifts that you gave me, the way that you taught me, your crows that you sent me the last time you saw me? The next time I see you, I'll not let you go. I'll shutter the windows and bar all the doors. They never will open until you agree to spend the rest of your days with me. Wild woman, come to crows that you sent me. Wild woman, please stay with me.
The Alpha Sessions with Emma Joyce.
You've also worked with Berg,
Yes.
which
She's a great...
she was on the show as well, which
Amazing.
is great. What was that like? And you've recently written an album together.
Yeah. So we met in 2020 at the beginning of the lockdown. Okay. This group called Girls to the Front was started. And it was for women in music, just to network and to... We had like lots of industry people come in and talk to us, and we got to know each other and just felt less alone in the music industry, really. So I met Berg through that, and then we started songwriting together, and she's such a brilliant songwriter. And yeah, we wrote an album for Universal for their like sync department. So there's an album of songs about friendship and togetherness. I think we're going to do some more together as well, which is great. Nice. Yeah.
How does that work? Do you write stuff and then you say to the label, we have this, or do they kind of recruit you to go, I want something with this brief?
Yeah, this time they commissioned us to write. They gave us the brief, and then Nick produced it. And
so cool.
Yeah, really cool job. Yeah. Definitely want to do more of that kind of thing.
Was that one of the first times you've done it, or you've done it for a while?
Yeah. And it's fun writing songs that aren't going to be released as you as well.
Did that feel strange?
Strange, but kind of liberating in a way, because it doesn't matter, when I write songs, for me it's very much like, what do I want to say, and and it has to feel right. Whereas when you write a song about, they still feel right, the songs, but they're not so like personal to me. It's more like...
So it didn't feel like giving up a baby. I always kind of pictured that to be a thing.
Yeah, that's what the album felt like. But this, I haven't had a baby, so I'm sure anyone who has a baby will be like, that's... you cannot compare, and I'm sure that's true. But it's definitely, it's slightly different. You're not emotionally connected to them. You can sort of objectively look at them.
I guess because the intention is that way from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. You're sort of like, oh, today I'm going to write a song about a friend who's sad and we want to cheer them up, rather than
my friend,
this was a feeling I had and I have to write it in a song.
Understood.
It's less therapy and more
more
practical or something.
Also, now that the I guess pandemic restrictions are coming in again, hopefully we'll have a massive summer full of live music, but also I imagine you've got big plans for the year. Anything we can look out for? Yes. So we've got some gigs coming up. We're supporting this amazing band called Solstice, who are a prog rock band. So we're going to be performing with them throughout the year. Cool. And then for my music, so I'm still growing my Patreon. And so the plan this year is to continue with that and start to record and work on the next album. So at the moment I'm writing a new song every month for Patreon. Wow. And then also I talk about Patreon a lot, but it has been such a big life-changing thing. But one of the benefits I offer to my highest tier, which is £50 a month, is we do a cover of their favourite song. Oh, cool.
And so for the last 2 years, we've been sort of building up those. So I'm going to release an album in the next few months, of a covers album, basically.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's all really cool. Like I think there's Cats in the Cradle, and there's a Kate Bush song, and Bee Gees. And then also about, it must have been 10 years ago, I did a BBC drama called Inspector George Gently, and I sang these two folk songs, Silver Dagger and Matty Groves. And that episode gets aired around the world all the time. Last week,
that so like really underplay. So I did this episode. And it happened.
Oh, I'm very successful, and it doesn't. No, it was an amazing job. But they
made it sound so trivial.
Did I?
I can't get my head around it.
Well, as
if I sat down on the chair, like that was how you kind of like presented it.
Well, you don't want to. It was a really amazing thing to be part of, and it was my first TV job as well. I ended up releasing those two songs that I sang, and because they show they air it around the world all the time. It's like that classic BBC,
Repeat.
Yeah. Although they never play it on prime time, because if they played it on prime time, I would get half my fee again. But they're very clever. Last week I got...
That's why they don't play it.
My agent sent me £5 last week for the whole year of distribution for that one. But I don't mind, because actually what it means is that people keep seeing that and liking the songs, and then they find me, which is amazing. So I've gotten some really lovely fans from that.
That is quite cool, actually.
Yeah, but they have been asking me for years if there's a CD. This is the point. Sorry, I nearly forgot it, but I've reined it back in.
Last minute save.
Yeah, last minute save. So I'm going to put those on the cover CD as well. So cool. I'm going to have a hard copy. So that's the plan. And then maybe later in the year, I've got some songs that kind of fit together as a little EP. And then...
we might hold you to that.
Yeah, okay. Me too. It's on my Trello board. So
okay, cool. It's happening.
So it's happening. And then, so because this album that we released, a lot of the songs that were going to be on this album aren't, because it just sort of became its own thing.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking of another album called All the Songs I Wrote Before, because there's some really epic ones. So I think that might be the thing we do next, is all of the songs that we've written kind of work together as well on a new album. But my brain's not quite, like, I just need to wait a little bit and work out exactly how it's going to work. Yeah. But I think that'll be for next year.
I'd love to, I know that you did that Twitch session where you could see how it all worked, but I'd love to, I kind of want to say be a fly in your brain, but that I know that sounds really weird. But
I know exactly what you mean.
To understand how the concepts and ideas come together.
I've been trying to work that out so I can do it on purpose.
How's that going?
Yeah. I think I've come to, I think it's about not forcing things and relaxing a bit and trusting that something will come, because that's always the way. When I have, things sort of click into place when they're ready to, I think. And that's why, they say, procrastination is really powerful for creative people, because you can be doing other things. Like, I'll be walking or I'll be doing something else, and suddenly I'll be like, oh, yes, okay, that makes sense now, So that's, but trying to streamline that into, but I think that's why as well there's so much pressure for artists to be constantly churning out things. And actually it depends what sort of thing you're doing, but you do need time to, because you do change as a person as 100%. Well, and you learn new things and you go through different stuff, and you need time to process it. And and I think there's so much, especially with social media and things, there's just so much pressure to be always putting content out, when actually you kind of need to go away from the world for a bit. I think I do, and then come back and say, hey, I've got this. But if I have to be always telling people what I'm up to on social media, I very rarely have I find it hard to have the power, the brain power to focus on creativity. It's a different part of your brain.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I find, I think so. Also, you need more concentration.
Yeah.
For that.
And you need, I guess social media is all about how it's going to look. So everything you do is aimed at the end result.
Yeah.
Whereas I think often the creative process is exploring and experimenting as you go. But if you're already thinking, I need to make music that looks like this, the creative journey is going to be
weird.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to harness all of the, I guess, I don't know, the creative power that you have. But I think that's what I mean.
I think it's as if you're going on a journey and you start your journey saying, I don't know where I'm going to end up. But in your head, you already have an idea about where you're going to end up. You're almost kidding yourself. Yeah,
exactly. If you're I'm going to go on a holiday, or I'm going to go backpacking around the world and just see what happens along the way. Exactly. Or I'm going to Australia, so I better bring warm, hot weather clothes and the right shoes, and you already know what,
Yeah.
There we go. That's it.
And for people that don't know much about you and want to follow you on socials now that they've heard this or seen this, where can they go? What can they do?
So you can find me I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, although I'm not very good at Twitter. And it's Ebony Buckle Official. And then my website's ebonybuckle.com. I would suggest, if you want to sort of stay up to date with things and make sure you get the news, sign up to my mailing list. There's a link on my website or in my bio on my Instagram. And I send, it's called Letters to a Strange Planet, and it's a monthly mail out that just with news and sometimes behind the scenes stuff that we're doing that I don't share on social media. And then if you really want to get involved and be part of the whole process, you can sign up to my Patreon.
There's tons of exclusive content on there.
Yeah, I do loads there, and that's kind of become my sort of full-time thing lately because it's really wonderful. So I do like a poem every week. There's a monthly show. There's discounts on merch. I share all the behind the scenes of like all the music videos we make. We have Zoom chats, and yeah, it's just a whole,
so much fun. It's
its own little world, which is great. And that's sort of, I think what I've come to realize is as the way that or the way that my music kind of sounds compared to like in the wider music industry, it's not that commercial, which is fine. But so I think what I've tried to do is sort of focus smaller on finding people that really want to be part of it and grow it that way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get that.
So yeah, that's my plan this year, is to keep doing all of that as well.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Than's for having me again.
It's been a pleasure.
Lovely to see you both.
So nice to chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Again soon, please.
Yes, please. I never intended to lie to me and my little one. It's the season for this, and I'm not sure that I can fight this time. And if I'm dreaming all of this, I'll close my eyes against the night this time. Keep holding on, my dear, we're just the same. For all you know, it's only just a game we play. So take a breath and breathe it in. You're loved, you know. Where's the reason for this? What on earth should I have done this time? And I can't breathe in all this. I'll wrap my arms around my lungs in time. Keep holding on, my dear, we're just the same. And don't believe there's only you to blame for this. So take a breath and breathe it in. You're loved, you know. After all, it's only skin. You're loved, you know. And we go and we go keep holding on, my dear, we're just the same. And don't believe